What's up, guys? My name is Adriel Rivera, and I make music in my shed. Join with me today is someone else who also makes music in my shed. Chef, who's impressed Gordon Ramsay, and rapper Tegan James Pres Washington.
Yeah, I'm a chef and whatnot.
You be cooking raps.
I be cooking up some raps, tell you that much. Oh, man.
On God.
On God.
So today we're going to be going over my latest release, the lyrics to my latest release, and going over the cover art of this release. It is called Number 1. And this song was co-produced by Conrad, my homie Conrad. Connor, shout out Connor. He was on last episode. And so today we're going to be breaking down the lyrics of this song. I love this song. I think it's great. I think it's great. Any thoughts, comments, concerns about the song before we get started in giving the audience a little bit of a recap on how it sounds like?
I mean, shout out Connor again.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just I really like the production on this one. This is cool. It's cool.
Thank you. Yeah, no, we snapped for real.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna dive straight into it. Here is Number 1 for those of you that have not heard it, or for all of us, because it's a good song and we need to get a refresh on it.
Another year I can feel myself getting old. Time moves so fast, but progress likes to take you slow. But boy, I'm ready to go. So let's go. Hey, wait, hold up. Destiny told me that it's not your time yet. What? I've taken hits, so how come I ain't high yet? You reach the top, but first you gotta climb it. Don't you know you can't grow gardens without the mud? Don't you know your skin won't harden without the blood? If you want the sun, you gotta take the storm. For conquest to be won, you gotta fight the war. So don't you know you get through all this is number 1. May not be the smartest, but my dream of being an artist is my fallback. Put in so much time, it's also all whack. I call that underdog. They gon' find out all along. One man built 100 strong, 7 years, 100 songs. Hey, wait, hold up. Destiny told me that it's not your time yet. I'm taking it, so how come I ain't high yet? You reach the top, but first you gotta climb it. Well, don't you know you can't grow gardens without the mud? Don't you know your skin won't harden without the blood? If you want the sun, you gotta take the storm. For conquest to be won, you gotta fight the war. So don't you know you get through all this is number 1.
And that is Number 1. Hopefully that wasn't too loud for you guys. But that's Number 1. I love this song. So many cool elements to the song. And I'm excited to break down these lyrics because I feel like it's not often that I get to make a song in this kind of context.
Yeah.
A context, quote unquote. I think more so this kind of message, you know. And so I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about it. I definitely have a few things to say about this one. So I'm sure you have questions.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. That's a good point because I've thought about that too. Like you don't make a lot of songs like in this type of like context, and so I'm excited to talk about it with you.
Sheesh.
All right, let's start this off. Number 1, you ready?
Yeah.
I mean, this it's like super. Like I'm just going one line right here. You ready?
Yeah.
I can feel myself getting old. Yo, why are we so like? Why do we always feel like we're getting so old? But like, yo, you're not old. Like you know that, right?
Yeah. No, I know that for sure.
Because I don't know about you, but like I compare myself to a lot of people, and I'm starting to realize like, yo, these people are much older than me.
Oh, for sure.
And
I mean, yeah, and like you think about for context. I don't know why I said for context. I feel like that was completely unnecessary. Anyway,
For context,
for context, people like I was thinking about this the other day. G-Eazy, for example, because I know that he has a song. I don't know why it popped in my head, but I was thinking about G-Eazy's song called Easy, where he's talking about his journey. And I remember hearing somewhere that he started producing at 14. And he didn't get his break till he was like around 26, 27.
Yeah.
You know, Russ, for example, was doing music for 10 years before until 2016 when he finally had his break with Losing Control, and like now he's, you know, doing great. Same thing with like Logic. His like, you know, was like building his traction around what age, like 24, 25?
Something like that.
Yeah. John Bellion was already pretty balling at like 22. He made like $500,000. So that's, I don't know. John Bellion's pretty crazy, but
yeah.
But there's a lot of people that, yeah, I like, and I mean, even just with business in general, people who build businesses don't hit their successes until like, you know, 10 years into their business.
Yeah.
You know, well, not, they don't hit their successes, but like, you know, you can't build something sustainable until you built that foundation. That foundation just takes time, you know? And so I do understand that we're not old, and like, you know, but at the same time too, it's like, but I know that I am getting older, and I'm never going to be as young as I am today.
Right.
You know, so it's like there is like a constant pressure of feeling like I need to make sure that I'm doing the right things to give my future self the best position possible.
Yeah. Yeah. On that note though, I think, I mean, us and obviously other people have this, but I think about how blessed we are to have found like our passions so young in our lives.
Exactly, yeah.
Because a lot of people don't have that. And so at least like now, like we mentioned later in the song, or you mentioned, 7 years, you know, like I'm, you know, grateful that I found it 7 years ago rather than finding it now. And then 7 years from now, you'd be in this position. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like, right. Yeah. No. And I think about that a lot too. I am happy that like I found what I wanted to do in high school and just like stuck with it.
Yeah.
You know, because yeah, I wouldn't be this far, and I wouldn't have learned the lessons that I've learned, that I had to learn if I had started later.
Right.
Or like switched careers, for example, like chose to do something else other than music, because you have to start that cycle all over again if you choose to switch, which is another thing. So
yeah, 100%. No, I feel that. All right. So following that up, Destiny told me that it's not your time yet. So my question is, do you think that like one day something's gonna like just take off and you'll have like that overnight effect where it seems like this just happened for you? Or do you think it really is going to be like a slowly just compounding thing? And obviously you'll have those little spurts, but do you think you're going to have like a huge viral moment, or do you think it's more of a constant growing thing?
I can't tell you. I have no idea, but it's so exciting to think about though. Like I'm excited to find out what it's going to be. Like, is it going to be like, you know, a big spike out of nowhere? Is it going to be a gradual? If you want what my hope is, my hope would be that it is a gradual like rise, but not in terms of like, you know, listeners and stuff like that, but in a community and a fan base.
Yeah.
I want to be able to see the engagement steadily increase, and to see more and more recurring faces in terms of engaged audience. Right now it's cool because I do have like a core fan base. Like there are like fans that I can point out that I always see in the comments all the time and like reaching out and things like that. Like I do have a core fan base that like I can like notice. And so I'm excited to see that just grow and expand. And I'm hoping that that would be what happens, where that would consistently grow. And then like, because at the end of the day, those guys are the ones that are helping to fund my career, basically. You know what I'm saying? And so I would love to see that happen. And if it's like, I mean, if it happens that like it's going up and then I get a spike and stuff like that, I wouldn't be mad about it. I would just hope that if it does spike, I would be able to not control it, but take advantage of it in the best way possible. You know, where like because if that happens, it's bound that the spike is going to come back down, and then you know you're going to be at a higher level than before, but you're not going to be that high. At least for a while. You know, and so it's like if that were to happen and I'm down again at this other level, I would hope that from that spike, I'm able to capture that audience in the best way possible, which is what this podcast is for. This is what everything I've been posting on social media for like the past like at when this podcast comes out, like month and a half or month or so. That's what I would hope for. That like what like or that's why I'm putting these things in place and taking action on it. The same thing with like my store and like, you know, working on learning how to do sales.
Yeah.
That's all. I'm doing all this stuff so that I set myself up for the best success when a moment like that does happen, where maybe I do get a viral moment, or if that doesn't happen, these are still just good things to do anyway, because as more people come in, the foundation will already be there. And like I can, you know, create a good customer / fan base, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, no, I get that. I think earlier in an artist's career, a lot of times they are trying to focus on those, like trying to go viral or have like a viral moment and stuff.
Yeah.
And not only is it not wise, because that is not the best way to like build a successful, you know, career, but then also like even if you do get that viral moment, you're not ready to turn those people into fans anyway.
Exactly.
Because you haven't laid anything down.
And a funny thing is that like I can somewhat like attest to that, because I've gone through it before, you know, like we're back in 2019 when TikTok was it's still a fairly young social media platform, but that was like the very beginning.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I was on there before a lot of people were willing to go on there. And I had a viral moment, you know, a few viral moments, you know, I had like a few videos do well over like 100K. One went to the 800K, and then I have one that's 2.7 million views, you know. Not that it's necessarily about my music specifically, but I was able to have, you know, some virality on TikTok.
Yeah.
And it was still music related content, you know.
Right.
And I did post about my music every so often, but this was before I even did a song a month and things like that. So
Yeah.
it's like and again,
Way back.
it was way back, but like how you said, artists wouldn't have the knowledge to know how to capture that audience well. I didn't, you know, because I didn't have a song coming out every month, so like people were not being kept up with me. I didn't have consistent content even coming out. I was trying to be consistent on TikTok, but like I stopped, you know, and like, you know, it ended up biting me in the ass afterwards. But like, but regardless, I did have a moment of virality, and like it didn't help. I mean, it helped, but it didn't like help in the way that I wanted it to help.
Yeah.
And a lot of it has to just do with the fact that I just didn't know how, like, I didn't know how to deal with it, you know, or how to use it to its fullest potential and things like that, or even how to use TikTok to its fullest potential. So
100%.
yeah. So yeah, like, 100%.
No, I'm with that. I wanted to point out this is a bar. I've taken hits, so how come I ain't high yet?
Thank you. Yeah, no, that's purposely barred there.
That's a freaking bar. That's
Thank you.
freaking bar.
Thank you. I send you bars, and you don't use my bars.
Bro, okay, hold on, bro. But the bars you send me, oh man.
Do you you should like write them down in your notes app, just like Adriel's bars, so that like we have a list of all the things I've ever sent you before.
I'm trying to see if there's anything recent that you sent me.
Oh, we're gonna reveal it on the podcast. Bro's gonna expose me on this podcast for my outrageous bars.
But nah, this guy over here, when he says he's sending me bars, like like some of them are bars, and some of them is like, bro, in what context can I use this, fam?
I forgot what the last one I sent you was.
Yeah, I can't find anything. But yeah, you do be sending me bars.
Thank you.
Who knows? Maybe you'll ghost write a song for me for real.
I'm down. I got you. But yeah, no, I like that one too. Because, you know, I just to break it down, just in case it's gone over anybody's head, you know, taking a hit, you know, as in like getting high, you know, like doing drugs, smoking weed, right? I'm a good man. I'm not saying that you're a bad man if you do that. Oops.
That's crazy.
Oh shit, I'm about to get canceled.
Bro, shaming
right now.
people. That's crazy.
I'm about to get canceled. I don't even want to say clean. Clean sounds like I'm calling you dirty then.
What? Who's you? What are you talking about? What are you talking about right now? No, I'm joking.
So, but I don't dabble in drugs. I mean, I don't do any drugs at the moment. You know, but for context,
you didn't have to talk. You did not have to say any of that.
I don't know. I feel like there was a reason why I brought it up, but we'll we'll see if there even was. Anyway,
All right, bro.
for context, you know, you taking a hit, get high, blah blah blah. You get that stuff. And so I've taken hits, but how come I ain't high yet? Like in terms of like career growth. I mean, it's all relative. I've definitely like so much further than I was before. Like, and people aspire to be at the point that I'm at right now, which like I'm not taking it for granted. Like I'm so happy that I've been here. But again, 7 years. It took some time to get here. And I know me 7 years ago would have thought that me seven years into the future from when I started would have been like already touring like with like 15 million monthly listeners. You know what I'm saying?
Dang it! This was a question I was gonna ask.
Oh, well, we'll get back to it though.
Okay.
We'll talk about it. But yeah, so like the whole I've taken hits, but how come I ain't high yet? It's like, you know, there's the whole drug thing about like taking a hit, getting high, but then it's like taking hits as in like I've done like I've done so much and like failed so much.
Yeah.
You know, like
You put in your reps.
Right, exactly. Like I can point. There's so many things that I feel like I failed at. I've learned from it though. You know, there and like when it comes to failure too, I feel like there's always there's always something to learn from a failure. It's never really totally a loss. It's never totally like a failure. But there definitely is some things that I've, you know, taken a hit from.
Yeah.
In terms of my career, in terms of my life, you know, just a lot of things in general. And so, the whole taking hits. So how come I high it? Like I've done my reps.
Yep.
So where's the results? But you know, but that's why afterwards you'll reach the top. But first you got to climb it. You know, there's still more climb. If I'm not there yet, that means that there's still more climbing to do. So.
Yep. And there's always gonna be more climbing to
right.
do,
That I literally just thought of that right now too. But yeah, for sure.
So I got basically the whole chorus, but I'll read it out for the people.
All right, go ahead.
Don't you know you can't grow gardens without the mud? Don't you know your skin won't harden without the blood? If you want the sun, you gotta take the storm. For conquest to be won, you gotta fight the war. So don't you know you'll get through all this as number one.
So poetic.
When you say so poetic.
When you say it.
Well, it's poetic when you say it too. I really like. I'm a big fan of lyrics like that. Like I like the punchlines and stuff, and like all of the wordplay and stuff. But sometimes like you really just have to get in your poetry bag and just paint that nice little picture.
Yeah.
But especially this, and then with the production, like this really, I can really see this like in a sync situation where it's like in some sort of movie or television show or something like that. So my question to you is, if the chorus were to be played during something, like what do you think that looks like?
Dang, that's a good question. Let me think about that. I feel like it would be like first thing that pops into mind, like just off the dome, is just like a montage almost, like of somebody just like all right, I just got to do what I got to do now.
Yep.
You know, like I mean, not to be super cheesy, but like those like if somebody like is working out to get really big, you know what I'm saying, really strong, like I feel like that would be the kind of thing. And I'm sure like, you know, any sound executives at whatever project would probably think of something more like interesting than that.
Detailed,
right? But like overall it's like I think it would be some sort of like self-improvement, but like in like a go get it kind of way.
No, I 100% agree with you. Like I see the training montage, like before the boss fight, like dude's down on himself,
right?
You know, is questioning his power, has to hit the gym, you know, power up, and then go take on the fight. That's what I imagine too.
For real,
But I don't know. When I hear this, like I just totally picture it in something like that for some reason.
Especially since like the bass line that Connor helped produce with that, like the whole. Like I love the energy it brings, and it's like there's not even so many elements in that song, but it's just like how they come together really drives it.
For real.
I want to talk about those lyrics. I don't know if you were gonna go into more detail about those lyrics at all.
Go ahead.
But I wanted to talk more about it because I love the imagery.
Yeah.
You can't grow gardens without the mud. obviously I would write about gardening because I'm a big gardener. I love gardening, and that's another thing too. With the stickers that I released at this point, when the podcast comes out, it would have been like 3 weeks. I think it's like 3 weeks. For us, the stickers come out tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they did in terms of like, if people are gonna enjoy them. I love them. I think they're really cool. But for context, if you guys don't know, it's like I'm releasing like gardening sticker, like a gardening sticker pack. At this point, hopefully by the time that this podcast comes out, they're sold out, which would be dope. But yeah, so it's a gardening sticker pack so people can grow with me literally, because it comes with seeds, right? And it's a sticker that says I plan to grow. Anyway, because I had that whole plan, I've had this plan to make a sticker pack, or not a sticker pack, but just something that people can grow stuff with me.
Yeah.
Some sort of merchandise that comes with seeds so we could grow together. Since I've had this plan, I felt like though, like, I don't feel like people know that I love gardening enough.
Yeah.
Because I really love gardening.
He really loves gardening,
love
guys. Like every time I come over here and it's like gardening season, he always is like, hey, check out my garden. He gives me the updates every time.
And I always tell him, have a cucumber, have like a tomato. And bro's like, nah,
I'm good.
He never wants my gardening produce.
I don't really be consuming produce like that,
but it's
bro.
like fresh produce, and it's different produce because it's like, it's fresh. Anyway, off topic, bruh. I wanted to mention it more in my songs, just so that like I wanted to mention something about gardening.
Yeah.
Like in my songs, because it's a part of my life, and if I want people to know that and grow with me and things like that, then I need to let it be known that I garden, so throwing that, I'm really proud of that line because it's like, it talks about gardening, but like, it's also just a good line. You can't grow gardens without the mud,
right?
And then after that, your skin won't harden without the blood. I felt so like big brain because like I was able to rhyme garden and mud with harden and blood.
That's nice.
And when I found like those lines that like, it was like finding two perfect puzzle pieces that like fit together, and I was like, I did that.
It feels amazing when something like that happens, bro.
Right.
Everything just falls into place.
Exactly. One more thing too. I stole a line from a song that I did with you.
What?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Hold on. Yeah. Yeah. The Storm War. Yeah.
So like you asked me to get on your outro for ACT.
Yeah.
This is a while back. This was in 2019 at the time. No.
Jeez.
I think it would be like
probably something like that. Yeah.
I mean, you can tell by the way I sing too. I mean, like I feel like my singing voice has changed since then. So like just from the way that I sing, I can tell it's like pre 2020.
Yeah.
But yeah, I sang in that song. You want to step inside so you can dodge the rain, but you got to take the storm if the rainbow awaits. So keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
And I've always loved those lyrics. I feel like I executed them really well. And when I was thinking of things to write for this, that popped in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
and so like I wanted to do something similar. And so I said, what did I say? I completely forgot at this point. If you want the sun, you gotta fight the storm.
You gotta take the storm. For a conquest to be won, you gotta fight the war.
Right. So yeah, I stole that. I stole that from myself.
And I remember on my podcast when we talked about that, we talked about how poetic that verse was.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So
dude's just a poet, I guess.
Full circle. But yeah, I do love that. I do love those lyrics.
Yeah, it's really nice, and to make it the chorus, like, yeah, good idea. Good idea, man.
Thank you.
So yeah, we did like briefly touch on this earlier, but 7 years, 100 songs.
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to know that's a huge accomplishment, like in and of itself.
Thank you.
All right, so like 100 songs in 7 years, like, bro, people are always so shocked when I tell them that I have songs released. I'm like, I'm a rapper, and they're like, do you have anything out? And I'm like, Yes. Like, what do you mean? Well, y'all know people that are rappers that don't release.
Right.
So like putting out 100, plus songs. Nice job, bro.
Thank you, man.
With all the videos and everything and the visualizers, the cover arts, like you doing it all, bro.
Thank you. And I will say it's not 100 songs on Spotify because some songs are just not on Spotify. They're like the old ones that old ones that nobody like. Well, you can still find on like SoundCloud.
Yeah.
But like they're not up to par with the quality in terms of writing, production, and mixing that I do now. So they're not on Spotify.
Yeah.
Even some of the stuff that is old on Spotify, I'm still like, it's like trash to me.
Yeah.
But I keep it there because it's part of my older catalog. I had it up there at one point, and I feel like if it's up there, don't take it down. It's part of history at this point.
I like that.
But yeah, 7 years, 100 songs.
So my question is,
Go ahead.
7 years ago when you started this, where did you think you would be now?
7 years ago. I mean, I thought by the time I graduated, so I started releasing music sophomore year of high school. This was 2016.
Okay.
So I thought by the time I graduated high school, I would be at like the over 1 million monthly listener mark on Spotify. And that was my only goal, was to get like over 1 million monthly listeners, because I thought by that point everything else would fall in place, as in like I would be making more money.
Right.
I would know the people. Like at the time, like it's funny thinking about how confident I was that I would hit that, because I did not know anything about the music industry. I did not know anything about like discipline and how hard it actually is to become like an artist, like,
right.
Or not even a big part of an artist, but how hard it is to just run a business.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a lot of effort. It's not easy. And that's why like I've taken hits, bro. Like I've had to learn the hard way for like a lot of this stuff. But good thing I started sophomore year, because I'm 22 now, and I still have ways to go, but the only reason why I'm at where I'm at right now at my age is because I've been doing it and like been learning from the mistakes I made. But yeah, no, I definitely did not think my younger self would have thought that I was so much further than I am now. Would my younger self be disappointed in my current self? I don't think so. I would hope not. But then again, I'm more of a mature person now than I was back then.
Yeah.
Not saying that I was like super immature,
right?
But maybe my younger self would have been like, oh, look at me, I'm a little, like I'm nowhere near where I thought I was gonna be. But hey, me in 5 years from now, who knows where that guy will be?
Yeah. What do you think, or what do you hope 7 years from now?
7 years from now, so another 7 years from now. I would hope for sure that like I am living on my own at that point, with like it not in like a paycheck to paycheck struggling kind of way, but living on my own in like a prosperous way. But not even just that, but like going above and beyond music, right? I mean, I love music. I'm always going to be involved in music. But I have other business aspirations as well.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to build other businesses on top of this, but I really want to focus on my music though first. I don't think it's smart to pile on a bunch of stuff if I haven't already made this successful. So once I can make this successful and expand on it and like make it as automated as I possibly can, then it might be time to move on to the next business.
Right.
But until then, we're working on this. Where will this be in 7 years? Who knows? But I'm hoping a good spot. And so we'll see.
Hey, man.
I'm optimistic though.
All I don't know about all these guys. I hope so, but I'll definitely be there in 7 years.
For sure.
So I hope in 7 years y'all are here and still rocking with Adriel, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope so too.
But that's what I got for the lyrics. Is there anything you want to break down?
Yeah.
There's a lyric.
So I wanted to touch on the second verse. I was kind of I don't know if I would say I was flexing, but I definitely was kind of like a little flexy. I wasn't flexing. I was just kind of like, like what's like like a less intense word for flex? I was squeezing.
I mean, people say like a subtle flex.
It was a subtle flex.
Slight flex.
Slight flex. Perfect. I was doing a slight flex on the second verse.
A little something.
Put in so much time, results are all whack. I mean, like, I don't think they're all whack. Like, I definitely can acknowledge how far I've come, and I'm proud of it. Again, I would have expected more, but I don't hate myself for that. I'm not disappointed in myself. But I say after that, I call that underdog, because I definitely feel like, in a way, the underdog. I don't know if other people would view me that way, but I definitely feel the fact that I do everything myself because I had to do everything myself.
Yeah.
Nobody handed me anything in this industry. I've had to work for everything. And yeah, I call that underdog. And then they're going to find out all along, one man built 100 strong. Like, I love that. I love that one. I love that line. One man built 100 strong. Not saying physically, obviously. I definitely need to do some more flexing at the gym. You know what I'm saying, to get to that 100 strong men strength. But the reason why I say one man built 100 strong is because I wear like the hats of 100 different people.
Yep.
You know, it's like I'm my own engineer, my own producer, my own vocalist, songwriter, but then on top of that, my own like producer for music videos and like content, like video editor, cover artist, like, you know, for all the cover arts and anything that has fulfillment, manager, fulfillment,
merch designs,
exactly, manufacturing, I literally handmade those stickers. So it's like literally it's just me doing all that, you know. And again, it's a slight flex, but at the same time, I feel like if you're like any small business owner has to put on those hats, you know. If you go to the local like mom and pop coffee shop at your that rhymed. I didn't even mean to do that.
Whoa.
That like around your local area, you know, they running their business have to do a lot of their stuff themselves, you know. They are the customer service as well as like fulfilling the product, doing all that stuff. You know, doing the marketing, things like that. And music is no different. You know, you have to be your own business and build all that stuff. And be the one man that's built 100 strong, or woman. But I'm a man, so I say that.
That makes sense. You are a man. You know what? You're the man.
Thank you. You're the man. Not just a man, the man.
Thanks, bro.
All right, let's move on to this cover art. So this is actually the first time you see this cover art. Yeah. So.
Yeah, this is sick.
This is the cover. You like it?
Yeah, this is sick.
All right, cool. I'm glad that you like it.
Oh my gosh, he's got the mud. Oh my gosh, look at him.
Yeah. So let's just break it down, especially since there's definitely going to be some people listening and not viewing the cover art. The cover art is a drawing of me, like always, sitting on a throne of roses, basically, you know, eating grapes and with mud on my shoes and my overalls. I don't have overalls. I would love to buy overalls and actually wear them, because I would wear overalls. Bro. I would get a farming hat and wear overalls and just garden in that. That would be so fun.
You would kill in some overalls, bro.
Yeah, no, I definitely need some overalls. So that's gonna happen one day. We'll get overalls. But yeah, the symbolism in all this. I mean, like, I was really proud of the concept. I'm really proud of the drawing too. And another thing, slightly off topic, a mental note that I gave to myself for this year is that all these cover arts, I want to make them feel like I couldn't have made them better. You know what I'm saying? So there's some cover arts I made last year where I felt like the drawings were mid, but I'm like, I just needed to do the drawing.
Yeah.
This year, but I look back at those cover arts, I'm like, I don't like the drawing, you know? And so this year, I really want to make sure that every drawing that I do is like, this is exactly what I want, or like this at least like is it looks really good, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with it, and so far so good. All these cover arts that I have, I think I've hit the marks, and this one's no different. But the thing about this one is I really love the references to the songs and just like the symbolism that it has. Um, the sitting on the throne of roses, it's like, you know, you can't grow gardens without the mud. I have mud on my
Yeah.
you know, shoes and overalls, so you know I grew a garden in the mud. But on top of that too, just eating grapes, you know, the whole fruits of your labor type, you know,
Right.
that the saying, that whole idea of just like I did do the work, I'm still doing the work, but I did do the work, and you know I get to enjoy the fruits of my labor. um
I do want to add that the grapes look delicious.
Dude, low key, I could go for some grapes right now.
That's what I'm
I'm
saying.
hungry. I'm so excited for Bedrocks later.
Me
Shout
too.
out Bedrocks. Yo,
Shout out Bedrocks.
shout out
yeah.
Bedrocks,
Yeah.
but-
Thank you for that.
yeah, you're welcome. But yeah, I'm so excited. It's a little local, what is it? A
Bar.
pub, a bar, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going there to celebrate. No, we're not really celebrating anything, but we'll make it a celebration.
We're celebrating 7 years, 100 songs. That's what we're celebrating.
Sheesh, Bedrock 7 years, 100 songs. Let's go. But yeah, so this cover art was a lot of was really cool. And I'm proud of it. So let's actually break it down. So this is the drawing where I pulled up in Photoshop right here. And so let me go through these layers because I haven't gone through these layers yet. And you can see it already being broken down.
Wow.
So this this is gonna look goofy, but I mentioned this before, I reference myself a lot, or I'll reference other like, you know, drawings of me and things like that. So I went to Panera that day to, as I always do, what am I talking about, to do my cover arts. I always do my cover arts like outside of my house because it's so much easier for me to focus when I'm at like a coffee shop or something like that. So but I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to find a reference photo for what I wanted. So I was like, I have to take a picture of myself
Yeah.
doing it. So I took a picture of myself. This is literally right before I left to go to Panera to draw it. So I actually took multiple, and I couldn't get like the angle that I wanted right. So this was finally the one that I got right. And so you can see like, I put my phone on the floor specifically because I wanted to get that low angle that the cover art has.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm doing the whole same motion. I mean, it's kind of goofy to see myself like, bro, what is going on there? But I got it. I got what I needed, and so from there, you know, we started doing like the sketching and like, you know, like outlining and all that. And so this is the silhouette, the blocking out of all the shapes, so that I can get the skeleton, I guess, of the drawing. After that, that is not it. Let me see. After that, this is like the sketch. We're getting into the sketch over here. So let me see. Do I have? So, from what it seems like, this sketch came pretty easily. I had this let me think. Let me see. I had that initial thing that I showed you there.
Yeah.
But from there, it really was just adding all the details and stuff like that. I mean, other cover arts I've shown you in the past, like, you know, I've had to do like a little bit more refinement and things like that. Like,
Yeah.
you know, building out the flesh of like, you know, the character. But based on my project file, it seems like I didn't have much struggle with this one in terms of like getting the detailing. So we start off with, you know, the sketch, what we're ultimately going to go for, and then after that, you know, after you have the initial sketch, then comes the rendering, which rendering is just like the lighting and everything like that. And so you always had to keep in mind where the light is coming from. And so for me, the light source was going to be back here, and keeping with like the themes of cinematography, because I, you know, make music videos and stuff like that. So I do my research into cinematography and things like that. Some of the best cinematic shots are backlit. or that's usually how you get a good cinematic shot, is having the light come from behind rather than from the front.
Yo, hold on. We didn't mention that earlier too. We were talking about music video directing. Like lighting is like its own profession.
Yeah.
And so like I just want to throw out there, like he's also figuring out like the ways to cinematically light things, to shoot things, all of the different, like using different filters and stuff. Like he really does be doing all of this stuff, bro. I'm just throwing it out there.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, it helps that I like this stuff too, though.
Right.
You know, like I don't learn it out of. I mean, it's like partially necessity, partially I just like it, because I could shoot a music video without, you know, understanding why it looks good, or even like I could shoot a music video without even making it look good because I just don't know how to make it look good.
Right.
But like I want my videos to look good, so I'm gonna learn how to make them look good. And the thing is, I like learning that though. I like being artsy.
Yeah.
And so it pays to have that drive. But yeah, anyway, the lighting, you know, so I want the light to come from an angle coming from more like this way, right? So if the light source is coming from here, you're gonna have the shadow hitting me on the edge right there, but like casting a shadow on the garden throne as well, the rose throne. You know, and so just kind of keeping in mind all that stuff as I'm sketching, and then obviously the catch light, like we talked about before.
Yep.
In another podcast. And so from there, oh shoot, you know, you do a little more. Well, here's some more detailing with the shadows, just to give more texture to the grass or the leaves. You know, some more darkening of the areas and all that, and then some extra shading. I think you call that ambient inclusion, where the light doesn't get into those small crevices, right? Because that's how lighting works. You know, the smaller the crevice, the harder it is for light rays to leave those areas, so they're darker. Or no, not leave those areas. The harder it is for light rays to get into those areas, which is why they're darker, because they're small crevices. So yeah. So that's the sketch. Then you come in with the final line art, right? Because you always need the final line art. And again, I mentioned this before, but line art takes like the longest. It's the most tedious process, because after the sketching is the fun part. You know, you get to actually create the thing. Now it's just like going over it and like redoing what you already did,
right?
But just making it look cleaner. So, and honestly, I've thought about this before. I don't know if AI has gone to this point yet, but I would so use AI to do the line art for me. Like, I just show it a sketch and be like, hey, clean up this line art.
Yeah.
You know, and so if I could get AI, like if AI gets to the point where I could do that, which I'm pretty confident it will get to a point.
Yeah.
It's already doing crazy stuff. So if AI gets to a point where like I can show it my sketch and be like, hey, make a clean line art. It doesn't even have to be perfect, but close enough to where like it doesn't take a lot for me to fix the small areas.
Right.
It's like I would save so much time, you know. And
That's
so,
a huge W.
On God. And so after that, you know, you have the line work. And then where do I have the colors? Then the coloring. So the main color blocking, you know, it goes line art, color blocking like usual, and then the rendering. So this is the legit shadows at this point, like the final shadows, and then boom, you know, nice and crisp lighting, and then you come back up here with the small details, the final details. Ignore this. Actually, don't ignore this. We'll show this right now. So this was like the first this was the first idea. I think I started, you know, now that I see this, I'm wondering, I'm trying to remember like what happened. I might have started this, didn't like what I was, because I might have started this in my head, right? Where I was like, I had the idea in my head and I wanted to draw it, but
yeah.
I don't think I was able to hit the mark where I wanted to. Like, I was like, this is not turning out like the way I want it. And then so the next day I came back taking a picture of myself to do it the way I wanted it to.
Yeah.
And so this was like the original quote unquote. This is like the sketch that I was starting off with, and like right away I was like, yeah, no, this is not doing it. And so I had to get a reference and then start, you know, doing the
Sick.
final one. Thank you. And yeah, another thing too, is like when it comes to art, if you want to get into art or like drawing and stuff like that, reference photos, use them. Use reference photos to help you. It's like it's a tool. It's not cheating. It's like it helps you learn. You know, the only reason why I've gotten so good at drawing, quote unquote, so good. I mean, I'm decent. I'm good. I'm good enough. I'm as good as I need to be. But like there's definitely like way more more. I've seen like TikToks of like artists come up on my For You page, they'll just break down people's art and why certain things don't look right, you know, or look off, and I wouldn't have thought of that stuff. So there's like, you know, there's really good artists out there that like can teach you a lot.
Yeah.
From what I can teach you though, at the level that I am at, references help so much, and there's no artist. Every good artist is constantly using references because you're trying to recreate life. How are you supposed to recreate life if you can't? You know, if you've never seen it before.
Yeah.
So I showed you the One Like You when we did the One Like You podcast, the cover art for that, and how I told you I didn't use any references.
Yeah.
I can confidently say the only reason why I was able to not use any references for that one and it come out so good is because I've used them in the past.
Right.
You know, and it's helped me. So don't be afraid to use your references. Don't be afraid to show your genius. my little slogan. But yeah, use your references. Not even like with just art too, but with your music.
Yeah.
You know, when you're making or producing stuff. When I first started producing, I started off making instrumental remakes.
Right.
You know, I didn't even make my own beats until like, you know, I was making instrumentals of songs that I liked because I couldn't find the instrumentals online. So I was like, I'll just make it. And I did. That's how I started off. And then, you know, eventually I made my own, but, you know, taking the time to use an instrumental for reference and like listen to all the different parts and pay attention to it and how it's made helps you learn how to make your own instrumentals, you know. So it can be applied everywhere. But that's the cover art. And those were the lyrics of the song. I love the song. It's a great one.
Where's the mud?
Oh shoot, you're right. The mud is somewhere here. There you go. There's the mud. Good call. Now that's the cover art.
Sorry, I just want to see the mud.
You're good. Yeah, there's a little details there. Yeah. So there's the cover art. That's, you know, that's it.
Sweet.
You know what time it is?
What time is it, dude?
Quote of the week.
Bruh, I forgot what time it was. That's crazy.
You were about to end it off here.
About to pack up.
All right. Who goes?
You.
I go. So my quote is from John Bellion. I love John Bellion. He's the guy. He's the GOAT. Great man. Never met him, but I assume so. I'd assume he's great. 8th grade. Oh, this is the quote. This is a lyric from his song called "Money Right." He said, "8th grade, I feel depressed as shit because my heart is in the future and I know where I belong. It just takes time." And I think that actually, this was not planned, but that works really well with the song.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate.
It's like exactly what the embodiment of this song is, you know, like having your heart set into where you want to be and knowing that that's where you feel you, I guess, I don't want to say deserve to be, but where you belong, like how he said.
Yeah.
Obviously it makes you depressed, it makes you sad. But you'll get there. It just takes time. Yeah, and I that has always stood out to me ever since I first heard it, which was back when I was a sophomore. This was when I was first starting to make music. I remember hearing that line, and I was a sophomore, and I would imagine him saying, like sophomore year or 10th grade or whatever, or at least from my perspective, it would be like a sophomore year or 10th grade. I feel depressed as shit because my heart is in the future. And I know where I belong. Just takes time. Yeah. So yeah, that lyric, it's always resonated with me, and you know, I love that song.
I love that song too.
Yeah, he references. Yeah, he's got some good references.
That's a great song. I remember that being like during my John Bellion era. That was like at the top of the list.
Yeah, right.
All right. Quote of the week for me. It's actually me.
Sheesh.
It's actually me. It was something that I wrote yesterday. and I liked it, and I feel like it kind of applies.
Okay.
It's locked down. I don't got time to pop out. I'm only 22, but making moves while they all drop out and clock out and top out. I'm out here dropping knockouts. If you like the stuff I drop now, hold up. My best is not out.
That's very true.
Man, and I think that also applies like the 7 years thing, bro. Like,
For sure.
we're just working, bro.
We are. I've heard your stuff. I've heard your newer stuff. I remember when you sent me Collegiate like 2 years ago, and you just dropped that like late last year.
Yep.
Like you really do have these songs just in the vault. You need to get them out.
I'm getting them out,
I
bro.
know.
I'm getting them out.
Finally doing a song a month.
I'm pretty much caught up to myself now.
That's good. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I mean, seeing your growth too. Like, I'm proud of you as an artist too. Like, I mean, do you remember the other day when we were listening back to your older things?
Mm-hmm.
You came such a long way. And I actually recently I was listening to your old stuff on Spotify, like, which isn't even your oldest stuff, but even the stuff that you have on Spotify, like your like Prezi volume. No,
3.
is 3 on there?
3 is on there.
Yeah. Prezi volume 3. Like, yeah, no, you've passed that. Dude, I keep spitting. My fault.
Well, yeah, you should probably stop doing that. Yeah.
But you've like exceeded, so much of what you used to be.
Thank you, bro.
Like, who you used to be, like as an artist and as a person. Not saying. I mean, I don't really know who you were back then. I would be honest with you, but I can tell that you've learned from experiences that you've gone through, and so.
Thank you, bro.
You're welcome, man.
That's all any of us can do.
Exactly. Just grow.
Grow, keep learning.
You can't grow gardens without the mud.
It's true.
For real. Yeah, no, that's a good one though. You got good lyrics. You got good bars.
Thanks, bro.
You're welcome.
I be trying.
Oh, I forgot to do something.
Dude, stop forgetting to do that.
Which I was going to tell you guys before we got into the cover art, that if you want to be the first to hear my newest releases every month before anybody else, so early access to my newest songs, check the show notes down below for my contact list, and I'll send you these songs before anybody else hears them every month, because I release a new song every month. So feel free to check it out. And if you like this podcast, feel free to rate it 5 stars. I use Spotify, so we got 5 stars. I honestly don't know what other podcast platforms do, but I think there's also ratings there. So rate them. Rate it if you like it. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be seeing you again next week with Losing My Mind. Appreciate you all. I make music in my shed.